Hello students, welcome back. So in the previous video, we discussed elaborately about various symptoms of stress and various ways of coping with stress, right? So in the conclusion video, let's see what it is written. Stress depends upon the balance of power as just subjectively between the environmental demands, constraints, and resources, and the ability of the person to manage them. So it depends on from person to person. So some people are coping with stress very effectively. Some people cannot. So basically, it depends upon the environmental demands or the constraints and resources and the ability of the person to manage the stress they undergo. So stress develops when an individual feels he is not competent to undertake a role assigned to him effectively. But uh, it generally develops when an individual feels very much incompetent, right? Sometimes it becomes very difficult for people to come back to their normal self after this happens because stress is so much and they tend to get burned out. Okay, the individual feels that he lacks knowledge, skill, and training on performing something. So this happens basically in the workplace. Stress can be considered as a fact of nature and a force from the outside which disturbs the individual. So this is what basically stress is, both in the lifestyle or in workplace. Both the factors, stress can be considered as a fact of nature. And when it is on the job, it becomes costly for the employees and the employers, right? And it is reflected in the lower productivity and reduced motivation and job skills. So when you are in a job, it becomes very costly for the employees and employers if someone is on stress, right? Because what happens, it lowers your productivity or energy. It lowers your efficiency to work. It lowers your motivation, and it lowers your overall job skills. And the same thing happens with life as well. It reduces the motivation to live life at the fullest and enjoy. Yes. So in life also your productivity will be less, your motivation will be less, your skills will become negligible. So that is why it is very much important for us to learn how to cope with stress. So coping in stress becomes a very important factor to help deal with stress and make our lives a lot better than what it is today, right? So when we learn to cope with stress, at that time it becomes easy for us to deal with stress and certainly can make our lives better. So with this, I would like to conclude uh, this topic. Thank you so much for listening, and we will bring out our next topic, that is crisis intervention, in our next video. So thank you so much for listening.